up, Blake?
Yo, this is James Lights Out Tony, the one and only. You are tuning into Philly Fight World. You see me? BAM!
What up, what up? Welcome back to another session of Philly Fight World. As you always know, there's boxing news, there's boxing analysis, but this is Philly Fight World, and we're here with none other than Mr. Blair, Mr. Flair, Ric Flair, Drip, go woo on a big. He's already here, and we're gonna talk about all type of news and boxing, award shows. We're gonna talk a little shit today because there's just a whole bunch of stuff that's happening in the boxing world, and as Sully always says, it's a great time for boxing because there's always something. There's always something happening, and I always put this clip up because it just keeps happening.
But wait, there's more,
and it just keeps happening. So Blair, what up?
What up? What up? What up? I love being on the scene with Philly Fight World. It is Blair, the Flair, the most excited man in boxing, Mr. Woo, all night long, baby.
Yeah. My man.
I'm loving the energy. I already told Blair we're gonna talk some shit today, so let's talk that shit. Sully, where we gonna start off? You know me, I ramble a little bit, so I'm gonna let you take point.
Nah, man, it's good having you, Blair. It's good having you, man. Finally, bro. Finally got you on here, man. And I'm just, like I said, happy that you on. Of course, I'm happy to talk boxing all the time, man. And it's a lot going on. This past weekend, we're a little late on it, but we let the dust settle. We had the big controversy in Virginia, Keyshawn Davis, that controversy with his brothers. I mean, what's your take on that whole situation?
Well, Keyshawn, they've been in the gym with me like the whole time, training and everything, and it's very saddening to not get to see Keyshawn actually fight in the main event. And then this kid that he was talking the most crap about and kind of punking had like pulled off the main event. And it was just a lot of nonsense going on. And I know Top Rank must have lost a lot of money trying to promote a fight in their backyard, and it was just a big hot mess, the whole fighting in the dressing rooms and all that crazy stuff is, I wish that they would become a stronger, better team and become a little bit more professional, and actually handle, go after that bag, man, because somebody like me would never, Matter of fact, I'm the type of dude, right? I would fucking I'm just there for the hysterics. I'm just a show, bro. I'll be in the fucking on the face off praying that the motherfucker push me. Cause I'm a fall out like a bitch. Ah! Just for the hysterics. Just for the gram, bro. I'm doing it for the vibe.
Right.
I'm just like, hey, push me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not like punch somebody like with my fists, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
Type of, I'm not trying to throw the bag, you know what I mean?
That part.
Yeah.
Bro,
you go.
We're fighters that fight for money. I'm not fighting outside the ring for
that part.
And people be forgetting. This ain't real beef, bro. This is entertainment.
You say don't believe the hype? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, don't believe your own hype, you nigga. Like you ain't that good.
100%. Yeah.
Nigga,
at the end of the day.
Good. Like calm down.
Yup.
Stop believing your own hype, you guys. You guys are fucking turned into children. And the women are starting to look better than you right now because at least they tough to fight anybody that they that call them out. Like you got people that's like, motherfucker, I gotta chase like five guys 5 times a day, like just to catch one, like one break. It's kind of ridiculous, and everybody's like a prima donna nowadays. It's kind of crazy, You know, even Turkey is tired of these motherfuckers. They just like, yo, yeah, look. I don't want to see another Devin Haney fight running.
Oh no,
in hit it ever again. Like, so now Devin blew the bag a little bit. I don't even know if the whole Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight is even going to be profitable. You know, I mean, they both kind of like blew the bag. They both need to fight Blair Flair.
There you go. Say it again.
That's what I was about to say.
Because I'm not chasing no fucking Devin Haney. Devin Haney is going to have to he's going to have to come forward and get his ass knocked the fuck out right quick. And you know what I mean?
Listen, he need a fight right now. You might as well get in the ring with it. Throw your hat in there, man, and put your track sneaks on. That's what you better do.
Yeah,
goodness.
He's a runner. He's a track star.
From me, we already saw what happened with that whole running from me situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
Me and him got a lot of experience with each other, and it ain't good on Devin Haney's side.
Oh man. But let me tell you, man. And Turkey said it best, like you said, Blake. What do you say? I ain't ready for I ain't here for that Tom and Jerry stuff, man. Like,
oh yes, I sent it to Blair. He saw it too. Hold on, let me read it so I can quote it correctly. From Turkey on his actual Twitter, I got this from. He said, "From this point on, it was 18 hours ago. I don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry type boxing matches where one fighter is running around the ring and the other is chasing him. We can no longer support these kinds of fights with Radah's season and the ring. We want to support fighters who leave it all out there."
There you go. There you go, man. He giving up the money, so he like, listen, if I'm giving y'all the money, y'all got to fight. And then you guys, don't blame him.
I mean, he's paying.
One fight. Fucking Turkey see me one time. Promote me one time. They could accidentally put my ass in there. Fuck around. He'd be like, this is the one.
The one. He's the one.
We're done with it.
Oh, man. There you go, man. Sign him up, Turkey.
You hear Turkey?
Sign him up.
I'm going to tag you, Turkey. You heard him. He said, sign him up.
Man, like, not just go ahead and knock them all down one at a time. You know, probably two at a time. I'm fucking get in there early, like get in there again later in the day.
Yeah, 2 for 1. Hey, he giving up that much,
bro. You know what I mean? I'll do all of that shit, all the shenanigans. Promote the hell out.
There you go, man.
We gonna tag you, Turkey. You heard him. You want somebody who ain't running? Come and get him. He right here.
Sign him up.
Sign him up. Put what's the phrase? Put your money where your mouth is. You want somebody who want to get in a fight? Well, call the ones that want to fight.
Call the ones that want to fight.
Phone's on. He on the phone right now. Call him.
All the ones that fight, and that's the thing. And the thing when it comes to calling the ones that want to fight, you know, Turkey is is always going to be crowded with promoters that wants to get action, like you know, Golden Boy and and whoever else, you know, he's always going to be crowded with promoters that wants to promote their guys,
of course,
but they're not going to be to promote like the best guy for the job. It's not really about the best job. It's more just like he's getting caught up with the politics because he has to find the true champion. He has to find the true people's champion. And it's because the people's champion could be sitting right there, but he can't see him because of all of the noise.
All the smoke, all the chatter.
The smoke, all of the noise.
Yeah.
What is Ryan Garcia doing in a fight with Rolly Romero? That was supposed to be my fight.
I agree.
Easy. Ryan should have got his ass whipped by an actual star. Rolly was kind of burnt out by the time he even got to Ryan. You know, with fucking losing to like multiple fighters, you know, and kind of just trying to find his way. you know, and it's a shame because, you know, then you'll have somebody like me that's coming off a big win, couple big wins actually. My bounce back was only 3 months after the fight. I'm like, okay, y'all caught me off late notice. Now watch this, and boom, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, so you don't want the smoke with the rematch, do you? Okay. You don't want the smoke with the Virgil Ortiz, okay? So you want to sit me down, okay? Yeah, that's what I thought, Golden Boy. You know what I mean? So it's you know.
Yeah.
That part. Like you said a lot. Me and Sully talk about that. You talk about politics and things. So on here, we talk a lot of shit. We talk about that, but we talk about what's real in boxing. Like you said a lot in just that short frame. The fights that should happen don't happen. So what happens is he calls it the machine, the boxing machine, where they try to piece pieces together that they think that fit rather than the fights that should happen. So if they're like, well, this is a better fight for XYZ because of this and that. Well, he has a better chance of winning, and we can do this to set up this other fight. It's like they're trying to set up one thing to do another. And you brought up Rolly and Garcia. You know, that fight was all about Haney Garcia mixed shit. Sully pointed out. He said, "Shit, you're Madison Square Garden. I mean, down in New York, Times Square. You see the fights for Haney and Garcia too, and he ain't even finished fighting Rolly yet. So you're already setting up for the next fight.
They're promoting it before the fucking fights got started, and I'm like, why are they doing so much for fucking tune-ups? They could have just fought for all that, for all the for all of that. Shit, they could have just fought.
You go.
Instead of fucking promoting tune-up, what are you doing tuning up?
They try to get 2-1, 2 for 1.
Get my ass off of the fucking couch and from a 2-year layoff to fight Adrian Broner, who had just had a fight 9 months before. You know what I'm saying?
The Tooth Fairy, by the way.
Like somebody, and then I fucking knocked you.
I'm gonna call you the Tooth Fairy from now on.
Like that's guts to do that. You know what I'm saying? All I need is a fair shot.
Right.
Enough time, enough preparation, and a fair fucking opportunity, I win. You know what I mean? The only one I didn't win was the Rocha fight. That wasn't a fair opportunity. That wasn't a fair fight. You know what I mean? I got the actual fight the day of the fight. I only had 1 week of fucking actual true preparation. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even knowing when I'm fighting, how I'm fighting. All I know is that I'm broke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay. Right. Yeah. And almost a year layoff.
Talk about that a little bit more. Like we've heard from Rolly and things like that. And I try to bridge gaps because there's a lot about boxing that people don't understand. They just think you guys will just punch each other in the head and that's it. Explain that part where you said it wasn't a fair fight. Like, I'll give you an example. Like Rolly talked about everything when he went to New York. They didn't have a hotel room for him. They didn't have nothing in his per diem. They had nothing in his escrow. They didn't have stuff like that. Explain that part of boxing a little bit. They didn't
at all.
They
didn't have a hotel room. Like he had to get his own hotel.
Correct, and that is 100% confirmed.
Correct.
So he didn't have a hotel room. How did he get to the Times Square? How did he get to New York? He lived out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And like
no per diem.
No per diem. See, I don't know. That's, you know what that sounds like? That don't sound like a Turkey Al Sheikh thing. That sounds like bad management outside of Turkey Al Sheikh that was supposed to get done that didn't get done. You know what I mean? Like whoever, like I think that is that Golden Boy? I think that's Golden Boy that dropped the ball on that situation.
Yes, because that was it. Yeah, that was Golden Boy. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
that was Golden Boy.
Don't do that type of shit. So shame on them because that's not good. You know, like come on, that's ridiculous. And honestly, Turkey should do something about that situation when it comes to Golden Boy mismanaging the fights. You know what I mean? And it's like what so people can have an unfair advantage. But Turkey wants to see these fights, fair fights being fought, and he wants to see the great rise above it all. You know what I mean? That's why we have these fights happening. and he's forcing these people because he wants to see the people's champion. You know, it's only going to be a matter of time before Blair Flair shows up and just completely wipes all of that shit off. But it's going to be a while. This whole thing that's just going on. I hope that things change.
You were off for a second, Suey. I told Blair about the phrase you always use about the machine that we call in boxing. We were talking about that. You were off for a second. But yeah, that's what Blair's talking about right now. It's the machine of what they want, what fights they want to set up, rather than setting up fights that should happen, and rather than just trying to puzzle pieces. Okay, this works. You know, that's kind of what's happening now, instead of just like back in the day.
Exactly.
Best fights best. You want to fight your best fighters in your era. That's where your legacy comes from. You want to fight the best guys.
Like, for instance, that whole Turki Al-Sheikh, the worst part about Turki Al-Sheikh, that Riyadh card, which was absolutely beautiful. They did such a great job with just like setting up that particular venue and everything. The worst part about that whole situation was Golden Boy. Like, you know what I mean? In fact that like they had to be implemented in every aspect. You know what I mean? Like they had, so like, guess what? Everybody's fighting Mexican fighters. Everybody has to like.
You're saying like, something, man.
Only and honestly, only because they're involved. Like, yeah, we're gonna fight you with this guy. Like, you know, and it was just kind of ridiculous. And then Devin Haney, like, I did not like the way Devin Haney like took such a different turn in like his style, it became all only about winning. It became absolutely nothing about being a great fighter, nothing about showing that he's become better. It just only became about winning. And the thing is, we're not necessarily a sport. Winning is not good enough.
No, sir.
We don't get a fucking you don't get a championship trophy.
Nope.
You know, and like nobody gives a fuck if you get a belt and like you were the worst fucking born fighter in the world. Look, nobody gives a shit about Shakur Stevenson like they would with somebody like Mike Tyson or anybody else that's actually like a big seller. So like I would pray that he would start to fine-tune his things to become a fighter and not just be 100% about like keeping his O.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
right there.
I feel like he'll figure some way to fucking sue me and take the O back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely cannot just like lose gracefully. Which that no matter what, you're not going to be in a fair fight with a Devin Haney. You know what I mean? That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know, same. What kind of world we're living in?
Yeah, and that's not boxing. That's the whole point about it. You know what I'm saying? Boxing is you got two athletes fighting each other, and you trying to get the win. And if you take the loss along the way, you take the loss. Hopefully, you get a chance to get back and get in there and get back. But that's not like you said, Blair. Everybody doesn't want to take that loss.
Let me tell you.
The sanctified 0 on your record. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on, man. Just
by any means necessary.
We want to see fights. Yeah, everybody wants to see fights. Nobody want to see.
Tell you what boxing is really about. You want to know what boxing is really about?
Tell us.
Boxing is really about the story. Boxing is really about the story that makes you fall in love with the fighter. It's not about the race. It's not about the religion. Boxing, true nature of boxing, is about the story that captivates your heart, captivates the emotions, and captivates the absolute epitome of your imagination.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right. He's right.
It's about the villain, the hero. Like,
you gotta have one. Yep.
Battling through adversity and rising above it. See, the thing is, we forgot that. You know why? Because of Floyd. As much as I love Floyd back in the day, I hate him because he kind of ruined boxing. You know what I mean? He ruined boxing because he was a coward in the end. And he became a coward, and he waited 7 years to make a Manny Pacquiao fight happen.
Boy, you saying, but I keep talking, Black. Keep talking. I ain't gotta say nothing. Keep talking.
And then when he promotes, he doesn't promote greatness. He promotes undefeated records. And it became this thing where as though everybody else have tried to do the exact same thing. And it's only produced cowards. It's only produced like low achievable athletes chasing low hanging fruit. Not really telling a story, so not really captivating an audience. The promoters don't even promote the fighters. They promote the event. They don't actually find ways to make people fall in love with the fighter.
The fighter. Yeah.
They don't talk about the stories of how this person became, how this person had to battle through adversity to become whatever, wherever he is. Like, I can tell you all kinds of shit about me that will captivate billions, not millions, billions. It's unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, all it takes is 20 minutes. Like, yo, just take time with these fighters. It's my idea when it comes to promotions and everything like that. We really need to dive deeper into making the people love the fighters. The problem is these promoters are petrified with the idea that a fighter can be stronger than the promotion. So they try to control the fighters. They don't want another Manny Pacquiao. They don't want another Floyd. They don't want another Canelo. But the problem, you need another Canelo. You need another Floyd.
Right.
You need another Pacquiao. You need somebody that's going to rise above the sport. Like, not just the fighter. This is not just the entertainer. This is the fucking icon. This is what absolute true brilliance means. This is what absolute greatness means. Muhammad Ali is an icon. He's a figure.
Yep.
Like, he wasn't Bruce Wayne.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was that symbol that showed in the sky.
Right.
That had all
That's a great metaphor. Great metaphor.
All the villains and all the
they knew what's up.
Criminals afraid.
Yep.
Like, you know what? Tonight might not be the night for the robbery. We're gonna have to change the night. Because that might be Batman coming out anywhere at this point. It was just the image alone.
Just the image.
It wasn't quite Batman. It was just the image alone.
But
so we're gonna forget that. But at the same time, it's the image.
It's the image.
It's the very image of God's presence can shake demons out of your body. And just like the very image of true greatness, just the very image of true greatness can change the boxing dynamic completely. And that's what we need.
And that's what Ali did. I'm glad you mentioned it, because when you was talking, that's the first thing that came to my mind. That's exactly what Ali did. He came in, and it was the story. It was the story behind him. It was the story of this young Cassius Clay coming from the Olympics. You know, he was a talker. He was a Flair. He was a
he was a talker.
He was talker. And
you guys
before
wouldn't believe that he's my great uncle.
Get out of here. Hey, we can tell. Now we know where it comes from. We know where it comes from. The Flair comes from that.
I found out because my grandmother told me when she found out I was a boxer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Get out of here.
That's dope.
That's where it comes from.
About me boxing, she thinks I will lose my head. You know, I don't want you to be like your great uncle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would rather be my great uncle.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, man, and he is forever.
I'd rather
Listen,
be by the time I
listen.
fucking leave Earth.
He is forever remembered, not by the boxing, not by the, but for the
Right.
person he was, and
Right.
and the story behind him. You know what I'm saying?
Blair's
The
talking about,
boxing
yeah.
really came secondary, and he touched so many people, man. He touched so many people along the way. It's to this day, you haven't had a fighter that impacted the sport like he did.
Nope.
And he did it without the social media. You know what I'm saying? Without the social media that we have today, man. And it's just like it's just like his rise. And then, of course, you know, in the boxing, then, of course, he went to jail. Then he came out. It was like he impacted so many people that wasn't even into boxing. You know what I'm saying? So that was a perfect example. And you was talking on that about that was the first person that came to mind. But it's like you said, it's become the promoter now. The promoter is that person now. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the event. It's all about the New York, Times Square. It's all about Turkey al sheep. You know what I mean? And no disrespect to him, of course. You know what I mean? We love it because he's trying to bring these fights together. But what kind of threw me off is when I seen the upcoming promotion for that Canelo Crawford fight. And I've seen that he has gained who's Dana White. Dana White is involved with it now in boxing. And I said, huh? I said, what? How you gonna bring this like hey?
Dana White has been trying to ruin boxing for a long time.
You spoke on that earlier.
I don't know if he's an op or a friendly fire or just like
friendly fire.
I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of scared, but I'm hopeful that maybe things will work out. The thing with Dana White is that he's found a way to write the story, to tell the story behind athletes and promote these athletes that have like 2-3 fights and over promote the talent of the UFC.
There you go.
Extremely young. You know what I'm saying? It's extremely young. It doesn't have the same history that boxing has. Like you can go through the list of fighters that will connect you from one fighter all the way to the now, and like in the beautiful history of how things even became. Boxing is heavily integrated into even this country. That's what the blue and the red corner represented.
Right.
There you go.
The houses, the political houses that were originally just gangs. You know what I'm saying? I think we need a black corner now. Yeah, but hey, that's
there you go.
But like but
I'm with you on that. 100% with you on that one. Me and Blake talked about that. There has to be some unity amongst African blacks in the sport of boxing. When you look, listen. When we just had this conversation,
it's crazy. He's saying everything he talked about. Like
when you look at them sanctioning bodies, when you look at them sanctioning bodies, WBA, WBC, IBF, when you look at their board members, you don't see African Americans. You don't see any blacks.
Oh no, the IBF is black. That's a black
IBF,
and that's
IBF.
Good. That's good. But
IBF,
Spanish
the rest of
really taking over. That's really taking over, whether they're Cubans or not Cubans, but like whether like Mexican like the WBC or or Puerto Rican like the WBO or this and that. But I love the WBO though. They're very fair. They're very fair. But I don't know.
There has to be more representation with representation of blacks making those decisions. And if you're talking about the movers and shakers, because there's enough blacks. There's. I mean, come on now. We have blacks that have been in boxing for years, and so it's a shame that we are not in position to pull us up. Like you were saying about Oscar De La Hoya, bringing, every black fight has to fight a Mexican, or whatever the case was. But I think, this is just my personal opinion, I think from what I see, there has to be some type of unification, unified, whereas though, like you spoke of, a black, whatever you want to call it, this is what we have. You know what I'm saying? Where we could bring each other up and stop fighting amongst each others and setting these fights up, man. If it's going to be a promoters, I mean, I don't know, a sanctioning body, I don't know what, but there has to be more representation in the decision making, rankings, whatever you want to call it, to make these fights happen, man. Because it's I think it's unfair, man. I think it's unfair where it's a fighter like yourself doesn't get an opportunity to get these fights. You know what I'm saying? Where if you have like a Mexican or a Latino fighter who doesn't even have good wins behind him, he'll get fights. He'll constantly get fights. That's just my opinion. That's just my rant.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you good?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The problem
That's
with
just
me,
my rant.
one of the biggest problems with somebody like me is that in true essence, I'm a megastar. But the problem is this: I'm above politics. I'm above racial creed. I'm above a lot of things. So, like, what ends up happening is kind of hard for these promoters to do things old-fashioned way with somebody like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can't keep holding down an old-fashioned style of promoting with a future true champion, a true megastar. It's just especially if you have somebody that over exceeds that. You have somebody that can bring the Puerto Rican, the blacks, and the Mexicans all in one. And one fighter, never been heard of before. Somebody that bring the East and the West all at once, never been heard before. But the possibilities is endless. You have somebody that appeals to such a broad, wide open like fan base that is ridiculous. Like they can captivate the audience of the old, the young, and everything in between. Have somebody that's just that good. And then crazy enough, that's courageous to take almost any fight within reason. You have a miracle.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But the thing is, promoters don't know miracles. They're too used to manipulating their own agendas and manipulating their own things to make their own things happen. You know, and manipulating their own politics and implementing this and that. Like, they don't understand God, though. They don't understand miracles. They haven't had a belief in a long time. I'm willing to wager. So things is just kind of different right now. Things is kind of different. You know, I don't know, but what I can tell you is this: what I'm going through is what Muhammad Ali would be going through if he was in today's time. If he was a guy that came from absolutely nothing, no real background, this and that, because that's what he would be if he was me. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have had all the accolades of being an elite amateur and all this and that. No, he wouldn't. Because it takes way too much action. Like nowadays, it takes so much resources to even get that. He wouldn't even have that. He would just have his unbelievable talent and his and his persona that is unparalleled, and
There you
heart of a
go.
lion. That's all he would have, and that's what encompassed in today's time, Blair the Flair. And and while he's going through the rut and mess of the ups and downs of his career in boxing, it would be quite obvious that he would rise above all of the things that make boxing bad. He would rise above politics. He would rise above the the structure, and what did you call it? You call it the machine.
The machine.
He would be a character
Machine.
that would
There you
rise
go.
above the machine. You know what I mean? Of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And if any kind of inkling of true mastery, let's say if this person got with this person that had the power to make it happen, unbelievable things can happen. The world of
Mm.
boxing changed forever. Somebody like me becoming any just coming in line for even a moment with somebody like Turkey Al Sheikh, the world would never be same again. We would be forgetting the whole idea of what we used to think and we used to know about promoting. We used to think and know about like the Floyd program of becoming the undefeated fighter and this and that. And like, cause like when you can't be a great fighter, you have to lean on being a good sportsman. Like
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I mean?
There
And
you
when you
go.
take a loss, you got to make sure you get that O back, whether
Yeah.
it's through not so right circumstances. It's just a lot of things that's going on, but that's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see. And let me know if any of this doesn't make sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It
Makes a
makes a
lot of
lot of
sense.
sense. Would
I'm
you?
just sitting, I'm just,
Well,
I'm just sitting here listening to you, and I just like, damn, how we ain't talked to this man months before? Because a lot of stuff you said, me and Sully have talked off air and had conversations about the machine, the black-owned Latinos majority involved in everything, making sure their fighters are set up, black and brown fights set up, everything you said. We have had these conversations, even to the Floyd Mayweathers and the undefeated streaks, where you're talking about they fighting 7 years later. I'm like, he's literally saying everything I've been saying. I'm like, this is crazy. I've never met this dude before. I said, and just listening to you. So we trust me. We understand everything you say because we have talked about this for days on days about the conversation that you're just having right now.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
let put it like this. There's a principle.
Mhm.
You know, everything works off of principles. You don't know
mhm.
what you're looking at. This is an actual thing that I've learned
Mhm.
since I was living in Malibu and
Mhm.
around the rich and around this and around that. I came up. I found principles that like changed my life forever.
Mhm.
This is a principle that's really embedded in like in religion and things like that. But let's just put it like this. And it's really in society. You can understand what you're looking at when you understand the principles. So
Mm.
the principle of everything that's good and everything that's bad for you works like this. Everything for your salvation and everything for your destruction do the exact same thing. That's why they look alike.
Mhm.
They
Mm.
look alike. They look alike is the problem. Everything for your salvation and everything for your destruction unites.
Mm.
Everything for your salvation unites. Everything for your destruction unites. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, and like you can formulate this into politics. So like this, put like
Mhm.
this: everything for your salvation, it, they there it's like this. They conquer. No, it's not that they unite. They conquer. Everything for your salvation conquers, and everything for your destruction conquers. They look alike. But everything for your salvation unites and conquer. Everything for your destruction divides and conquer. And that's the actual principle. And when you understand the principle of how things are, you can see things for what they are. You know, like everything for your salvation unites and conquer. Everything for your destruction divides and conquer. Why are we pinning fighters against each other and trying to manipulate the agenda of this race versus this race?
Mm-hmm.
And then you
You're
don't
right.
get shit about the actual person.
There
You
you
don't
go.
know nothing about these fighters personally. You're not actually connected to them. They don't actually inspire you. There's absolutely nothing that inspires me about Shakur Stevenson at all.
Yeah.
It's hard to wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to go see Shakur Stevenson for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's remarkable.
Right.
He is a remarkable athlete, but he's missing the mark, and the promoters are missing the mark.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
I'm gonna tell you, you know, when boxing was on HBO, HBO did a great job of making the story,
They did.
building the story of the fighter.
They did.
Digging into their lives, taking you along the way, the journey. And then you felt like you knew the person. You know what I'm saying? You understood where this person came from. You understood his journey, and you understood, you know, where he is right now. They did a great job of that building. And the crazy part is HBO wasn't even the promoter. HBO was they
network.
televised they were the network that televised it, but they did a great job in promoting the fight, and not only the fight, but the fighter. Whereas though you thought the fighter was signed with HBO. And so you had your back in the day, you had your Holyfields, you had your Roy Jones, and they built that story up. Now it's just like, all right, this event comes on pay-per-view. This is how much it costs. You want to see the fight? That's it. No building the fighter up itself.
People got
building that story.
Comfortable. People got too comfortable with not investing in your fans. People got too comfortable with not investing.
Disconnect. I got you.
And not connecting with your fans. They just got so comfortable with being so selfish and just taking money off the table. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to take, and then walk out.
Yep.
You're going to just take without giving nothing. Like, you're going to take without giving nothing. We don't know shit about you.
Right.
Like, at all.
It's like you said, why would you wake up and say, I'm going to watch XYZ? I know nothing about him. Never heard of him until now.
Even in recent times, and it's not a shot at the guys, but really a shot at the promotion, and really, like, we should be knowing these people even more intimately, because it could have been, or it could have been bigger, it could have been better. You know what I mean? And like, they could have got their money and truly deserving it. And then not only that, it would have made an even lasting long impression. It wasn't like, to make it about, like, it wasn't about their father, it was about them. We fell in love with them. We didn't fall in love with their father. The Conor Ben Eubank fight could have been bigger. It could have been even more captivating, because the fights were great, the promotion was good, but it could have been great. And you know how? By getting us to truly understand and know these fighters. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they're fighting for redemption for their like fathers and this and that. But I would love to just know them personally.
Right. Their journey.
Yeah, let's talk about the journey. You know, but hey, these motherfuckers got it so easy. Is the journey worth talking about?
Yeah.
Because like,
you
It's
go.
a short book. It's
I
a
know
short
one
book.
thing for a fact. My journey is worth talking about, bro. You know where I
There you
started
go.
boxing? You know, I knew Canelo before Canelo became Canelo.
We didn't know that.
Fighting on my undercard.
Talk.
We didn't know that.
Yes. Talk your talk. Let's
No,
hear
Talk
it.
your talk.
like the journey,
Mhm.
just the very journey can cap it's the journey is more valuable than the fight. And we got too caught up with just taking money from the
It
fight.
is.
The
Yeah.
promoters got too caught up with taking money from just the fight
It is.
and not promoting the journey and not making these fans fall back in love
Right.
with boxing in the first place. We've
Right.
fallen out of love, and people are just like, now they're just getting to a point where they're just watching people slap each other. It's just getting,
Oh yeah, we got into that. Yeah.
you know, and even if you want to make it a sport, like how Top Rank wants to promote boxing as more so a sport, even though it's never been a sport. It's always been political. It's always been like more meaningful than even a little bit. Like Joe Louis fighting Max
There you
Schmeling.
go.
Like you
There you
guys
go.
was it transcended just being a sport. The thing
There
is,
you go.
fall in love with boxing again. Turkey Al Sheik, if you're watching this, you want to make people fall in love with boxing again, then you need to have people like me. Period.
Mhm.
If you want to make boxing again, make boxing great again, you need to make people fall in love with boxing again. That's the only way. If you want to make boxing great again, you need to make people fall in love with boxing again. Then that means sometimes dropping just these paper champions that just like nobody wants to see fucking Devin Haney run around forever and just and completely only care about winning. We want to see the heart. I would have loved to see him keep his fucking L and stop being a fucking bitch and actually like come back better and not go for a tune-up like a pussy. Like, I don't know if I got it anymore. Like, bro, no, take your ass back into the fucking den with the lions. Believe in God and see what happens. Oh, you don't believe in God? Okay. All right, my Muslim brother. You know what I mean? Yo, like it's
Well,
nonsense, bro. And I want to see more. They should have never even had a tune-up. They should have went straight after each other. Why is
yeah.
he like he's got a lawsuit on Ryan? Like even to this day, it's kind of crazy. Like why?
Yeah, because the
It was
contract.
all about not having a loss on that record.
That's what
It was all about that. It was all about not having a loss, and he did. They took that. They took the loss away. Off his record, and that was the accomplishment. Now you continue to move on. But you said right. There was no need for a tune-up. You get right back in there. You get the rematch going. You fight.
Just go right
and
at it.
then you redeem yourself.
Yeah,
You redeem yourself. There's no tune-up. You
believe it or not, bro.
You've been boxing long enough. You've been boxing long enough. You've been active long enough.
Oh, bro. The story is worth more than the O.
There you go. Like you said originally.
The
story. That's what they want.
Go.
That's what locks them in. And I'm gonna tap into another side of what you said, Blair. When you talking about people come to the point where they take and lack of promoting, or I don't call it. Well, you can call it lack of promoting. I like to use the word laziness. And what I'll say by laziness is, you've come on here and talked to us. Have you heard us at any point try to get you a gotcha moment or something like that, try to sell some type of thing to him? Not this entire time conversation. And that's what these interviews have become now with all that. All we're looking for is clickbait for me to bait you into a question. I'll bait you to answer a question so I could post up and just forget everything else because people are too lazy and they just want to see those small 5-second clips you said and things like that, rather than hearing everything that you got to say about a situation or something like that. So I call it laziness because it's just in all aspects. People are looking for the fast way to get results, clicks, likes, and things like that, rather than doing everything the right way and building something up and connecting with people, like you said.
Yeah.
The story.
It's story.
The story. The story. People rather have the clip, the 5-second clip,
5-second
than
clip.
the story.
Even though you drop
Than the
gold
story.
for 60 seconds, but I only want the 5-second clip where you said fuck XYZ and all that, and that's all everybody will rumble.
I don't know how things go. I know that things are definitely different.
Yeah.
Like one I've noticed that my mental stamina, my mental actual abilities to hold attention is different because I watch
it's lower. Yes.
Instagram and this and
Yeah.
that. Like honestly, I've been like really changing my social life from in everything like that. My phone, the relationship between me and my phone. And honestly, I've been really about making adjustments because of that. It's this world is just different.
Yep.
And we all have to just like get used to it. Like I have to come up with so much content just to keep building my fan base. And it doesn't matter how good or how bad it is. It's just make sure it's there. Like,
you got to keep something going. You got to keep them wanting more. It's part of the business.
And people only care about, what's going on in social media, but like they really don't know what's going on with just life in general. Like, and they don't really care. There's a lot of people that just side take and they don't care. They don't care about the repercussions. They don't care about anything. Even in politics, bro, there's people that's just side taking without really understanding the full measure of what's going on. Like they don't even hear both sides. They only hear one side and side take.
And that's it.
Start everything. And you can't even talk to them.
Nope.
You can't even talk to a motherfucker about like, well, man, how do you think this person would feel? You got women that have absolutely no empathy towards men at all. But yet men fuck themselves more than a little bit. Like, so obviously they're going through things. You know what I mean? Hold up. Your value is what? A man's value is like a whole list of shit that they have to pull out of their ass for you. While you just have to sit there and be cute. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. And nobody cares, man. Nobody really cares. So like it's really rough. It's really rough in this world right now to find a place of truth when nobody wants to listen to nobody, and even in this boxing world, how do you break people down to, like, you have somebody like me that with all the brilliance, right? How do somebody like me be like, you know what? Look, you guys, we need to promote it like this. You give me 5 seconds, I'll blow your mind. Like, and like, there's just like the people in power, they just, it's all about power. And the people that's in power, sometimes they're not good people, man. Sometimes they don't have the best vision. That their vision is the one that should be taken.
Facts. Big facts. And that's it. And like I said, that's why I wanted to touch on that part of it.
Big fact.
Yeah, because it's true, man. It's changed. Attention span, way we view content, the way we put out content. I mean, I've talked about this with Sully all the time. He's not the big proponent of social media and stuff like that. I'm not either, but I understand how the game goes. That's just what people want to see. Got to constantly put stuff out. People are always wanting what's next, especially you yourself. You got to promote your own fights. You got to put your own story out so people want to follow you and like that. It's tiresome. That's why some people pay people to do that, but it's just what the world is now. It's a social world.
Oh yeah, man. I like what? I still got heat from the last interview. I'm still getting heat from the last interview. And the thing is, right? I'm like, bro, just I'll be in the comment section, be like, yo, bro, just please just watch the whole interview, bro. Like you're just watching this little, and that's it. Look, they put but so much on here. There were so many gems and like moments, like it's unbelievable. Just watch
it all.
Give it an hour, bro. You know, and it's nobody does that, man.
No, it's too much. It's too much for somebody.
The human attention span is not that long now.
You're right, and the reason behind it, unfortunately, is social media. We call it being social media, but our attention span is just like click. All right, I seen that flick. I seen that flick. I seen that flick. And it's just like the brain, we're not giving the brain enough time to just process everything. You know what I mean? And listen to the story. You know what I'm saying? And hear the story and listen to it, man. But that's a conversation that could just continue.
That could be that could be another whole nother conversation there.
Yeah, but it goes across so many. You know, so many avenues, man, and levels, avenue. It's just like it's just a broad thing that we go through as human, as people, you know. But and of course, it boxing too. You know what I mean? It touched boxing. So, but you mentioned it. You mentioned Shakur, and what you said was it would be great to hear his story. And you're right. We don't know Shakur. Shakur is he's one of the best fighters out there, man. I mean, the brother is, but we just don't know him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We don't know him. The only way we know him is by his Twitter or X. You know what I'm saying? And we see that, and we think we know this person by that. But we don't know the story. We don't know how he grew up. He has his amateur career is just like, you know, it's just to see him rise and through the Olympics, amateur career to where he is now. It's a story behind that. It's where he grew up at Newark. We all know, you know, Newark is like like any hood in the United States. You know what I mean,
bro? What happened, child? I want to know that was fucked up about you. Like when you talk about me, I'm gonna give y'all all the fucked up shit about how I was a scumbag in Philadelphia with my baby mom. I'm gonna fucking give you the fucking truth, bro. And like all the bullshit I had to do, how I'm fucking like how once upon a time I was rich. With my father living in Beverly Hills and then went on the run in Mexico. And then all of that shit just to be fucking broke, living in a fucking goddamn abandoned house in fucking Philadelphia. Trying to figure his way around like true oppression. Never known what the fuck oppression was actually, it was even real. Because before that, all I knew was Beverly Hills.
Right.
But now I'm in the fucking very slums with absolutely no family, no friends, fucking trying to find my way in the goddamn world, and somehow I survived. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we want to see, like, I'll give you guys the real shit. How I even made it out of Philly. Motherfucker, I found God. Really? Find God as a motherfucker. You only find them in the worst places.
In the worst places. There you go. There you go. They said when Jesus was speaking, of course, he didn't go to the people who had the money, who was in the great positions. Right. He went down to the Gentiles and spoke to them. And that's where it starts, you know what I'm saying? Where you're not blinded by this world, man, and the glitter and lights, where you in the slump and you really got to think and use your brain and how am I going to get out of this position, and knowing that there's a higher being that's going to help you out of it, man. That's where you find God, and that's where, like that story right there, bro. I mean, I didn't know that about you. You know what I'm saying? But that's a story that we need to hear from you. You're the athlete. You're the person that we see with the gloves on in that ring fighting. And it's more than just smacking people across the head, like we say, Blake. It's more to that person than that.
More than that.
And the story is not being told. The story is not being told, and it needs to be told. And
that's all about. Really about the story, man.
Yeah.
You know, right now I'm working on 2 projects because just the very idea of my life is remarkable. Like I could die today and my story was amazing. And that's and like, you know what's crazy? I'm still going through crazy shit. I'm on a fucking year layoff after the big fight of my life. You know what I mean? That's supposed to put me on the right path. You know what I mean? Dealing with Don King and just had to scrap him and all of that. Like, you know, the story is amazing.
That part.
All of that is just part 2 of the movie. Like I have to part of the sequel. Me trying to find love again. I've lost my big mouth. Like, you know what I mean? The whole shit.
That part, man.
If that shit's gone, what? Yeah, what? You got too high. Got too high on yourself. You know?
Get back down. Yeah. Start all over, man. That's life.
That shit connects people.
That shit. It connects people because we all go through it.
Yeah.
At some point.
You can relate to it.
And we all can relate to your story.
We all been through those that felt some of those pains, dropped some of those tears. You know, and people are just scared to be vulnerable in today's time. Or we would have saw people truly rise above just being just a figure in the sport and became an icon, became a legend, because they will be speaking about their legend. So that's the whole thing, you guys. But I gotta get going.
Yeah,
I'm like last percent. So on the fight world, obviously Philly bred. Blair the Flair, most exciting man in boxing. You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And of course, for more exciting content, official BlairTheFlair.com. Woo! The most exciting man in boxing.
Woo! There you go.
Look at him. He just dipped out.
And that's how you drop the mic, Blake.
What an outro. What an outro.
That's my man. That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it, man. Damn. It's good talk of the hell, man. Great talk, man. Great talk.
Like he said, he educated me a lot. I didn't know about him. I didn't know about that. He's Ali's nephew. Didn't know he knew Canelo, young Canelo. Like I said, it's his stories. If you take time to listen to them, people will tell you. Sometimes people say you got to just stop talking and just listen sometimes. And I enjoyed every hour of that, listening to it.
Man, let me tell you something. That just resonated. I'm not a huge Kendrick Lamar fan, but he had a song not on this album, I believe the previous album that he had out. It was called something about $1. I forget the name of the song, but if you're a big Kendrick Lamar fan, you know what I'm talking about. And the song basically talks about he's going to this gas station and he sees this man, and the man, wanting to pump his gas, and and he like, I'm big Kendrick Lamar. I'm just gonna walk up to this gas station. I don't even see you. And he's just assuming that this man wants money. You know what I mean? So he talks through the whole song, how he goes into the, then he comes back out, and the man is still there, and the man is still trying to talk to him, and it's just like we all do. You know what I mean? We see somebody that we might think is, homeless, and he's telling the story. And then at the end of the story, the man is basically breaking down to him about God. And so how much does $1 cost? That's the name of the song. How much does a dollar cost? If you don't know the song by Kendrick Lamar, listen to it. And just what Blair was saying is just like he dropped some gems where he was saying, man, that we just don't take the time to listen to the story. You know what I'm saying? We just our brain, social, and you know how social media. I'm like, I like it. It's a double-edged sword because you need it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not social. It's social as in connecting, but it's not social as in getting to really hear these stories of people, man, and understanding what they're going through, understanding what we all go through, man. And so it was a good talk with him, man. He dropped some gems. I'm glad we had that talk because, like you said, I got a different perspective about Blair, man. Like, you know, there's some substance behind the Rick Flair, you know what I mean? Blair Flair. And that we don't know. We don't know. And I'm glad we took that time out to talk to him and got to find out about him more, man. And that's with anybody. Everybody, we all have our stories. We all have our story. And he dropped a gem that these promoters have forgotten about that. If you want to push boxing, you want to make it's not about the fights. It's not about the no losses, keeping that O on your record. It's about the story. It's about the story of these fighters. And you talked about it before, Blake. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about and listen to these people in this sport and hear their stories. And so I'm 100%, man. I'm glad we had to get to talk. I'm glad we got to talk to him, man. That was well overdue. That's my rant, man. That's my soapbox rant for the day, man.
We appreciate you guys hanging with us for an hour, listening to all the content we put out. We'll keep putting out more. And we'll end this as we always do. It ain't always, well, this is more, much more goes to what Flair was saying. It ain't as hard as you can hit. It's as hard as you can get hit. And it ain't as how you start. It's how you finish. With Philly Fight World, I'm Blake Anthony. This is Rasul, DJ Suli Sue. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. James Toney, take us home. If you'll take us home.
Yo, this is James Lights Out Tony, the one and only. You are tuning into Philly Fight World. You see me? Bam!